Sandeep Bharadwaj is with us on the phone line. He's been bearish on banks for some time. I mean, he was on the show a couple of months back, and he at that time said that banks is probably vulnerable areas in the market right now. Sandeep, I mean, Moody's downgrade is still having an impact. I mean, banks are selling off with this rating cut.
Hi, Prashant. Very good afternoon. I think Moody's has been a bit late in the game. I think it's always the case with all the rating agencies. They're mostly late all the time. But I think it's inevitable. I think there are a few more banks in the pipeline which can be downgraded, which are in a similar situation like that of State Bank of India. You have Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of India, and IDBI, which have got very low Tier 1 capital. And it's high time that the government realized that following an irresponsible monetary and fiscal policy can lead to disastrous situation, and the world will not take it very kindly to what has happened. It's, in effect, there's been a downgrade for India, not just for SBI.
What are you more worried about right now, Sandeep? I mean, looking at banks, Indian banks, are you worried about higher credit costs, asset quality issues still top of the list, or loan growth slowing?
Everything. All three factors that you mentioned. I think the quality is the major concern, and it will continue to the balance sheets of our banks. And it stems from the fact that there's zero accountability in PSU banks. When chairmen retire, we suddenly see a huge NPA suddenly cropping up. And this I made a point a few months ago on your channel about the same thing. And because there is zero accountability, these chairmen can keep on going on doing that. And every time a new chairman comes, he just blames it on the previous one. And I think it's all catching up what is happening now. And the danger is that even now, if the government does not wake up, we can be in a very difficult position in the next few months and in a couple of years. Government continues to pursue populist vote bank politics, which will put further pressure on the fiscal deficit, and some of the brunt has to be borne by the PSU banks. I think these ambitious strategies, which fetch only short-term gains for the government, should not be pursued. I don't think that's really happening with the new food security bill coming in. That will give an additional burden of about $12 billion or so. So things are not looking good. Absolutely not.
Sandeep, while you spoke about the government, they will have to probably step it up a notch here. SBI as an institution, needs to have timely recapitalization, financial responsibility. But also, if you go to see from SBI's standpoint, it's been an institution of sorts. It's been holding on stable while there have been problems in terms of provisioning, some NPA concerns, yes, but it has been a bellwether. It has managed to stay and hold ground in many financial crises. From the standpoint of rating agencies, obviously globally, if you take a look, there are various other banks that have got a worse NPA problem, they've got a worse asset quality problem, they've got a worse provisioning problem than an SBI. So in that light, is it a little bit harsh?
I don't think so. I think this is the result of the cumulative irresponsibility over many years. So SBI is in the worst of the situation when you look at it on a standalone basis. I don't think there's an excuse when you start comparing it with global banks, because over there problems are different, and they have been bailed out in the past. We haven't reached that situation. Moreover, we don't enjoy the currencies, say euro or dollar, which the rest of these banks enjoy. So having a rupee currency a downgrade by the nation's biggest bank, which is owned by the government, you can see a further pressure on the FX rates. So I don't think it's harsh at all. I think it's a bit late. They should have come out a bit earlier with this downgrade.
They require funding right now. Sandeep, we've been talking about the 20,000 crore rupee rights issue since a while now, trying to get approvals from the government right now for SBI. It puts a question mark on that?
I think there's a question mark on everything that the government is trying to do. Look at all the FPOs, the way they have been announced and then not being executed, be it ONGC or be it all the other FPOs. And same as the situation with the State Bank of India. I think the longer they take situation will get worse from here, and they will have difficulty in getting the right price and raising capital. So I think it's very extremely mismanaged from the government's perspective.
Sandeep, for people who want a short sell, you mentioned two banks, I mean, which is the most vulnerable. One was IDBI, which was the other?
There's Bank of India and Indian Overseas Bank, three banks besides SBI.
Bank of India, Indian Overseas Bank and IDBI basically.
Yeah.
All right, Sandeep, thanks very much for your time.